HSS-CP.A.2 is the objective we're looking at. And this one, of course, is still dealing with probability and working with, in this case, independence. This is a big idea and can be a tricky one for a lot of students. Let me read you the objective and let's see how I kind of broke it down. It says, understand two events A and B are independent if the probability of A and B occurring is equal to the probability of A times the probability of B. This takes a little bit of thinking to understand what that really means. Of course, later comes conditional relationships, and that helps us clarify this, but ultimately that these two things do not impact each other. They are independent of each other. Much like flipping a coin and rolling the dice. Those have nothing to do with each other. I could flip that coin and whatever happens on it will never impact that dice. So those would be independent events. This is where we introduce that idea of independence, get into understanding that it gives you the intersection. That's why we talked about what an intersection was and got used to that. And I guess the last item I mentioned is one that I think is commonly misunderstood, even by me back in the day, before I really looked these things over carefully. Some students associate mutually exclusive with independent, and those are not the same word. They're not necessarily synonymous. Mutually exclusive means they have no objects in common. Independent means they do not impact each other. Two very different things, so you want to make sure that that's clear. Big idea, of course, independence. We're getting ready for multiple events and how they impact each other, conditional experiences, traps and pitfalls, lots of notation. Independence is a little bit tricky. Lots of things here to trip our friends up. I guess all I would say, if I'm looking at my reflections on here, is by doing more about Venn diagramming in the previous objective, it unlocked this one and made it simpler.